Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. This is episode 17 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. You ever notice how some stories are just too perfect? And I don't mean perfect as in good, I mean suspiciously perfect. Like the universe hired a screenwriter who's really bad at subtlety. When something in the news lands exactly on the political talking points, exactly reinforces the narrative, exactly triggers the right emotions, and exactly goes viral at the right moment, your pattern recognition system should start screaming. Which, by the way, is something I encourage. Work on your pattern recognition system because real life is messy. Real life has jagged edges, contradictions, lots of boring details, and loose ends. Nothing is ever exactly perfect. So, one of the most useful skills you can develop as a human in the modern world we happen to live in is learning to recognize when a story is, quote, too on the nose. And too on the nose is a phrase that the late Scott Adams used quite often. And as a useful skill, what I mean is that it might save you from becoming the kind of person who angrily reposts something and then quietly deletes it 3 days later. Too on the nose is when all the messiness disappears, everyone says the exact wrong thing at the exact right time, the villain has a name that might as well be Mr. Bad Guy, the timing is flawless, the moral lesson is obvious, and you're supposed to clap like a trained seal and say, well, that settles it. And if I might elaborate, too on the nose is when reality stops behaving like reality and starts behaving like a Netflix writer's room that just discovered activism. Everything lines up perfectly. The villain checks every box. The timing, it's miraculous. The quotes are flawless. And this is the key. The story delivers a moral lesson so obvious it feels like it should come with a laugh track. In real life, people are sloppy. They say the wrong thing. They contradict themselves. They act irrationally. They don't coordinate well. They don't accidentally create perfect symbolism at scale. So when a story shows up where every character behaves exactly as needed to prove a political point, that's not evidence. That's choreography. When a story feels like it was designed to persuade instead of inform, that's your cue to slow down, not speed up. It's a time for a bit of cynicism, a bit of skepticism. You'll notice the villain of these stories never says something mildly ambiguous. Oh, no, 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 no. He says the worst possible version of the thing in public on camera at the exact moment that it would do the most damage. It's like the universe whispered, hey, buddy, could you be a little bit more evil? We're trying to make a point here. And the hero, the good guys, the white hats, oh, flawless, brave, articulate, morally pure, delivers a perfectly phrased speech under pressure like they had time to rehearse it in front of a mirror. Real humans, meanwhile, can't even order coffee without panicking. When something is too on the nose, you'll feel it before you can articulate it. Your brain does a little pause, a tiny hiccup in your pattern recognition. It's the same feeling you get when someone tells you they just happened to overhear a conversation that perfectly confirms their worldview. Sure you did, buddy. Another giveaway is speed. These stories travel at the speed of emotion, not verification. Everyone immediately knows who's guilty, who's innocent, and what it means for society. There's no curiosity phase, no confusion phase, no let's wait for details, just instant certainty, which is always a red flag because certainty is usually rented, not owned. And notice, the story discourages skepticism. If you ask questions, you're not curious, you're suspicious. If you wait for facts, you're on the wrong side of history, which is a phrase people use when they don't have arguments, but they do have torches. The real magic trick is that too on the nose stories feel true even when they're not. They're emotionally correct, they satisfy the audience, they reward the people who already agree, That's why they're dangerous. Not because they're always fake, but because they short circuit your thinking. They turn your brain into a cheerleader instead of a detective. You don't take time to analyze, to look at the details. And this is what I mean when I say that too on the nose is not always false. But it does shut down your thinking, and you never want that to happen. The best response when something is too on the nose isn't outrage or disbelief. It's actually boredom, a casual, well, let's see what part of this unravels. Because something almost always does. A missing detail, a timeline problem, a conveniently edited clip, a witness who suddenly disappears. And when that happens, the people who are screaming the loudest will pretend the story never existed and move on to the next perfectly scripted outrage. So when you see a story that feels like it was handcrafted to manipulate you, when the symbolism is flawless, the timing divine, and the lesson unavoidable, well, you've just spotted propaganda wearing a Halloween costume labeled breaking news. And the moment you can recognize too on the nose, you stop being a part of the audience and start being part of the writer's nightmare. All right. That's enough for now. We'll continue later. And as always, be useful.